Time for a fluff piece that I want to do. Battery exhausted, she says. I'm fucking exhausted. Morning everyone, my name's Paul, this is Milehouse Studios. Welcome back. If you come here every week and you're just as fucking idiotic as I am, here's some signs. I'll do some swearing. If you don't like it, you may exit at the rear of the building. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that matter. I've got a basement full of donation guitars. If you want to donate a guitar, you can send it to me using the address in the description. Please do not email me and say, where do I send it? Everything you ever need to know about a YouTuber, including the length of his member, which is appalling, is written down below in the description. I haven't actually included that, but I might one day. Who knows? Got my ass out last week. There you go. So what's coming up this week? I have finally got my hands on a Chapman.
Greetings, I'm Robert Chapman Popoli. I am the droid you're looking for.
Cue cheery meme. Here it is. Have a little look. It's red. I made one like this not long ago for the tankies, remember? So I have, let's just get a few things out there. I'll read the letter, all right, because it's an interesting one. Hello Paul, this is my Chapman MO3 Modern Standard. It's a fucking lovely guitar and it's a very generous donation. Incidentally, these guitars get sold on eBay after and the proceeds go direct to charity from eBay. So it doesn't even touch my grubby little fingers. And they do tend to get a bit grubby when you've finished touching the jizz on the fretboard. Tetanus at the ready. The pickups are very, very hot and love dirty tones. I will do a dirty demo in this. Dirty Diana. What's he singing at the end of that song? Dejano! Look up the lyrics. It's not Dejano. Anyway, Jacko was weird. Also, in the box is a beaten custom guitar. Now, I'm not going to read the rest of that sentence out because I looked at that guitar, I unwrapped it, I cut it in half and it went in the bin. Very funny sending that to me. I think next door would have burnt it if it didn't have 9mm of poly finish all over it. Really love what you do. The boys and I have met up and catch up on your channel for boys night with some beers. Excellent. And these boys will be demoing the pallet wood guitar. It's going to them sometime next month. You're third on the list, chaps. Third on the list. You can contact me on Instagram at any time. Much love, Matt and Joe. Now, I don't know what one you are today, but all the best to your carer. And thank you to both, whichever side you're living on today, Matt and Joe. Matt, Joe. Joe, Matt, whatever. So, a few niceties out the way. I am a closet Chapman fan. I love his interaction with Andertons. I've grown up with it the same as everyone else. I think he's the same fucking age as me, so I don't know how that works. Well, I have nothing derogatory about Rob Chapman in my comment section, please. Spare yourself the fucking keyboard strokes. I'm not interested in your opinion about someone you've never met. There's no need for cuntery on YouTube with guitar reviews, all right? Just get it out your heads. Let's just look at this for what it is. It's a guitar that I'm really excited about reviewing and fixing up because it needs a bit of love. It does need a bit of love. Let's weigh it first. I thought it was heavy the other day when I picked it up, but it's not that heavy. It's 8.8 lubs. It's 0.8 lubs over what I would say is an ideal weight for me. But does that matter? No. I know a lot of people like heavy guitars. Opinions don't change, they evolve. That's a load of philosophical bullshit. They do change. This has got lots of things about it that I love. The reason I love Chapman guitars is because for me, at least how I perceived it, they were one of the first brands that started modernising traditional instruments. I know other people did it as well. I know I'm missing the point, and there's lots of stuff I don't know. Yeah, but for me, it was the first time I noticed like a Telecaster being brought up to how I like it. Double humbucker, simple bridge, little cutaways, flame tops. So all the grovelling aside, this is right up my street. I've never met Rob. I probably won't ever meet Rob. But I've always been an admirer of Chapman guitars from afar. But I've never owned one. This is the first time I've ever touched one. There you go. It's every bit as sticky as it looks. Let's be honest. Sporting the new Milehouse Studios neck supports. They actually look a little bit different to this. They've got cork on the top and a slightly different design. This is the prototype, but they are available now in the eBay shop. That's the seller bit over and done with. So this is how it arrived to me. It needs a bit of love. It's got a 14-inch fretboard. There's fact number 1 for you. It's made of wood. That's fact number 2. It's got a 25.5-inch scale length, and it's got some rather large sausages. Love a sausage. You love a sausage as well. I haven't got a lot to do. There's hardly any fret wear. I've got a feeling the frets are going to be good. It's quite a high standard guitar. It's been battered for years and years in the Geezer's recording studio. You can't judge a guitar on those basis. I have to do some work on it. I have to give it some love, and we'll judge it at the end. My opinions will remain mine until I can be fucking bothered to sum them up. So first thing I'm going to do is straighten the neck, because holy shit, there is 1.5 millimeters. 1.5 millimeters of neck relief. I haven't measured it. I've measured it with me ocular implants.
One eternity later.
Wow, I've never had to adjust a truss rod that much. There was so much, honestly, that was absolutely astounding. What were you doing to this guitar, boys? What have you been doing? Quick rock. So just a little tiny preliminary check. 3 of the tiniest rocks ever. Probably wouldn't affect playing at all. So I would instantly put this in top 5 frets that have appeared on the bench. And I would kind of expect it to be up there. It's a bloody good guitar. This is from quite early on in the Chapman era, I think. I could be wrong about that. I don't Google these facts. I don't really care about facts and figures. I just care about how I feel about the guitar when I've done what I need to be doing. The reason that neck had so much relief in it is because the nut is absolutely fucked. Way too low. Buzzing like a motherfucker, but let's have a little look. Here's a little example of how you've got to even things up and meet in the middle when it comes to setup. At the minute, that neck is pretty straight. If I was set it up to play, I would give it 0.1 millimeters relief. That sounds specific. If you're doing it, that basically equates to you can see a bit of daylight under your ruler, only just. A gnat's codpiece, nothing else. And we're there, gnat's codpiece. Now I've done that, this guitar is set up with 0.8 mil relief on the high E and 1 mil on the low E. And the nut is like 0.1 mil. So whatever happens, the nut is fucked. Because even if I raise these saddles up to give us a bit more action, which I will be doing, that's way too low. And to be fair, if you were shredding on this, that's why someone's giving it loads of relief. It needs a proper bit of setup and a bit of love. I imagine this is a case of neglect. So the nut is had a bit of abuse. That's a simple fix. Let's just get on and do it. Let's put a new nut in. I don't think I've got a black one. We'll have to go tusk. So anyway, let's give this guitar a clean up and a bit of love. Well, I'm going to turn the cameras off and I'm going to give this guitar a clean. I'm going to scrape the fretboard. You don't need to see me do that. I'll do it all the time. We'll concentrate on the nut and giving it some love and some bits that you might actually learn something from, or I will. And then later on in the video, I will be revealing the size of Rob Chapman's pots. Right, quick cut back to cameras because I'm going controversial. I'm not. I'm trying to be useful and helpful to you. This is a 14-inch radius guitar. When you buy nuts, normally they're pre-cut to a 12-inch radius, which is such a negligible difference you probably wouldn't tell that much, especially when it comes to cutting your nuts. You've got to get the nuts out every now and again. They're not my nuts, incidentally. I can't stand up that tall, and mine don't hang anywhere. And they're massive. They're fucking huge. If those are like your nuts, you've got issues, my son. And there's probably a tablet for you. Right. Here is the nut that came out. It is an unusual girth. Right, this is an old guitar. Nuts could have come from anywhere. It's 3.22 mil. My replacement nuts are 3 mil. It's got a bit of a wobble in him. All very well. This nut was cut pretty consistently 0.3 mil too low across the board. So if this is your guitar and you haven't got 100 quid's worth of nut files, that's not a flex, but it is a flex. That's a flex. Woo! Tiny arms, tiny, wasting away at 44. Fucking wasting away. If you haven't got nut files to adjust a new nut, or you haven't got a new nut, or you find that your new nut is a bit wobbly, how can you reuse your old nut? That was very tight in the slot. Mr. Chapman's got a very tight slot. At least in this one. I had to try not fucking snapping the thing in half, getting it out. There's a lot of glue and shit in there. Again, I don't know who's touched this in all the years it's been out in the big wide world. So I'm going to bring you in and I'm going to show you something controversial. There'll be some people going, you can't do that, it'll affect the tone. So here we are at the nut end. We're set up here. I'm not going to use my replacement nut because he's a bit wobbly in the O. She's a bit wobbly. I'm not happy. Let's just show you that. It falls in the O. And look, it's got a bit of wobble. So it's not suitable. It's definitely not suitable. We could go down the road of making a new bone nut. But I haven't got a bone blank and I can't be bothered. So I'm going to show you how to reuse this one. It's got to come up 0.3 millimeters. This is a bit of veneer. It is 0.4 mil. It's actually 0.5 mil. Veneers come in all thicknesses. I've got loads of it here. Never used it. 0.6. 0.6 is a fairly common size. So this veneer is 0.5 mil. I've cut a piece which is nut size and it's going to fit beautifully in the base of where the nut goes. I got a bit carried away on camera. I cleaned out the slot. This is a special file for cleaning out nut slots. Incidentally, it's a 3mm file. It's also got a bit of a wobble. So I've cleaned the slot out. Everything's nice here. I've scraped and I've sanded with a bit of 800. So we're all looking lovely, all right? We'll get to the frets in a second. I've got a clean slot. I've got a clean bit of veneer. I'm not going to glue it in. I'm going to take the old nut, which is very tight in the slot. And that is it. That's the repair done. That is very simple. When I slide this in, I can actually move it a little bit laterally. So I'm going to put in the smallest amount of glue you've ever seen in your life. That's it. Slot it in, get it feeling tickety-boo. Tiny spray. Bit of a clean off. Bob's your uncle. Nuts fixed. That's fine. Perfectly acceptable repair. You can see a tiny bit of that veneer. I've deliberately used a bit that's not black. You could colour that in. You could put a bit of Sharpie on there. You could do whatever. It's not a repair that you'd expect your luthier to do if you took it to a shop. But that's something you can do at home. And it's fine. It will affect fuck all. So berate me if you want. That is a perfectly acceptable repair. That's the difference between you playing your guitar and not playing your guitar, to be fair. Because a nut that's cut too low just needs to be either replaced or sorted. It's a lot of time taken on that, innit? I like a bit of a controversial one, innit? Because people will just lose their shit, which is nice. Challenging wank. So, let's have a little look at the frets. As always, I'm using the Fretilyzer system. I've got their fret rocker here. It's very nice. And I'm just going to check these frets. I've straightened my neck. All work needs to be done on a the straightest you can get a neck. And this thing goes wonderfully straight. Amazing. Not a queef of daylight under that ruler. And you can, when you rub it, you can feel the friction. It's lovely, all right? I've supported the neck pretty much in the middle, around the 7th fret. And the guitar, and I've got everything as flat as I can get it. Without using any force. Bridging only 3 frets. That's why it's got different length fucking sides. Noggin. We're just going to check for anything that rocks. And if you can hardly feel it, you'll know how my wife feels. Yep. I've got a tiny rock. Tiny rock. You can see a bit of dust and shit coming out from under the fret. Now, especially considering this was an older instrument, they're hell of a good. They're really good frets. I will find something wrong with this guitar, definitely. So I'm just going to polish them now. They're pretty good anyway. Someone's polished them pretty well. But we're going to go up with a Fretilyzer system, 1500, 244 and 8000 RPMs of grit. And I'll give these a super polish. As always, I'm going to use... I wonder if Fretilyzer will upgrade theirs to these little ones with handles. Little tip there, boys, if you're listening. And 7 ladies. I don't know how many ladies work at Fretilyzer. I've never met them. Sorry. As always, tape your body up. I like 3 layers of tape because I'm heavy-handed as fuck. Oh, almost dropped the bastard. That would have been good on camera, wouldn't it? Now, the demo for this guitar is going to need to be a rocky one, isn't it? Which is on the limit of my strumming abilities. So fingers crossed it won't be a complete disaster. I'm going to whiz through now. We'll do a speedy upbeat and let's get some polishing done. Right, we'll finish the equation off with some Axe Wax Vintage Discharge and we'll get this fretboard looking shiny and beautiful again. Well, I'm going to let that sink in, have an espresso, string her up, and we'll have a little look at Rob's pots. See you in a moment. Right, I got a bit carried away. I apologise. It's a busy day today. I've given this thing a clean up. I put a new nut in because the old nut had been chewed out with a dog's teeth. I think it might have been Alan. I'm not sure. It's definitely someone. It was asshole, so I've replaced it. I've polished all the frets up. I've oiled the fretboard. I've given her a clean. Everything is set up. 1.4, 1.6, 0.4 at the nut. It's how I like it. And so far, I'm not going to be able to shred it like Rob, but I'll give it a good fucking go. Before we go downstairs, I did promise that we could have a little look at the pots. I've just been checking intonation. And we are fine. If you're within 1 dot, it's lovely. Intonation's absolutely fine. We can unplug all of that shit. So we skipped a few things out this week, but really, are you honestly here to learn? I doubt it. If you pick up one little bit of advice, then that's fine, innit? Don't put your woolly through holes that you don't know what's on the other side. That's a perfect bit of advice for you, innit? I wish someone had told me that. Let's have a little look at Rob's pots, because we all want to see how big his pots are. I'll get the appropriate screwdriver. Well, there you go. It's got a proper switch and proper pots. A bit of push-pull going on. It's a ginseng pot. Never heard of a ginseng pot? I'm sure it's wonderful. If you know all about your pots, you can comment below. I know about ginseng pots, and we can all look at you and think, what a fucking nerd. But if you've got some information, I always appreciate it. So stick it in. Stick it in the comments. So on the back of the guitar, we've got the classic 4-bolt design with a bit of rusty goodness. It's a string through. It's got some dings and dents. I'm filming this a few weeks ahead of it going out on air, so I'm going to take it home. So whoever buys this, if you do find any spaff on it, it's probably mine. And if my teenage son ends up borrowing it for a few days, I'd get yourself a tetanus and be a bit wary if you've got a fucking dairy intolerance, because the spaff levels will be sky high. I'll see you down in Fritzl's. I've said too much. It's getting dark. No difference there then. Well, how about that for a demo? Thought I'd treat you there. Bit of love for the old grey guitarist down in the comment section. If you've not seen on Instagram, who the fuck are you and where have you been? I've had a lovely time learning some shit that will take years to sink in, but fuck me. What a demo. What a guitar. My conclusion to this thing are not really surprising. It is a quality instrument. I think these were like 800 quid new. They go for about 450 second hand. This one's set up lovely. I'm going to put it on eBay for 400. It will come in the case that it came to me in, and it'll be going direct to charity. This feels like a guitar designed by a guitarist, and I think that's how it works. If it's the early days of Chapman, I'm pulling things out of my ass. But from what I gather and the prototypes I've seen in Rob's videos, yeah, I can see why someone's had input in this that really knows how to play a guitar, because it is lovely. I can't fault it. The tuners, I've got to say, highlight of the build, which is fucking weird, isn't it? The tuners are absolute, I was going to say butter then. No, God! But then the beration in the comment section towards me would be well deserved. They're phenomenal. Really, really good quality. Everything about this is top notch. It's a wonderful guitar. Thank you again for the donation. The listing is live below. They sell very quickly. It's been a pleasure. It has been a pleasure. My first Chapman, and I'm not disappointed. It's lovely. One other point that I shall have to raise. The fret ends are the best I've ever seen. There you go. Fanboy. I've fanboyed out. I tried finding things. It's a fingerprint magnet. So there you go. The only negative thing I can find about the whole guitar is it's a fingerprint magnet because it's glossy. That is it. Massive recommend. Really. Massive recommend. I would choose that over a big brand guitar any time of the week. So there you go. No affiliation. I don't know Mr. Chapman. I probably won't ever speak to the geezer, but I've really enjoyed this guitar. So if you've got nothing constructive to say, stick it right up your noose, because no one gives a flying fuck. Special wave, everyone. Love to everyone around you. Woo! I'm going to film an unboxing video now because I've just picked up an absolute whopper. See ya.
On a winner here, Trig, all right? Play it nice and cool, son. Nice and cool, you know what I mean?